You're not a threat. They put you in shackles 3 years later after your footage was used in the January 6th committee itself?
Yeah, my footage has been used, HBO documentary, New York Times documentary, and by news services all over the world, what I captured that day. And of course, I've written dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of stories on this since that time in the 3 years. And more importantly, I've done more video review work inside the Capitol CCTV viewing room at the Capitol at this 41,000 hours worth of video than probably any other journalist, especially when you add in the man hours from the Blaze teams that we brought up there for weeks at a time.
Yeah, what's shocking to me, though, so, Steve, no offense, but you don't strike me as a threat. You strike me as someone who is cooperative, and you are willing to do this. However, they come to your place specifically to put you on show and march you out with 4 charges that are bogus at best. How do you answer to these charges?
Well, actually, they didn't come to my place, and that's because of the cooperativeness that we've given them since the first time the FBI called me back in July of 21. We submitted to a voluntary interview at that time. As a matter of fact, the FBI actually had to get permission from the United States Attorney General's office to even interview me because, as a member of the press, a journalist, they can't interview a journalist without express written permission of the Attorney General's office. That's the law. It's in the statute. It's in the federal code. And so they had to seek that permission to get that interview. And then they told me in November of 21 that, in fact, they were going to charge me and that they would charge me within a week. They didn't. And then they went away for 20 months. We didn't hear from them at all. It wasn't until after I was hired by the Blaze that then they ratcheted up again, and I got a grand jury subpoena. And that was back in August of last year. And then in December, after we had rolled out blockbuster stories about perjury in the Oath Keepers trial by Capitol police officers, special agents. We did the work on much of the work that you've seen on these pipe bomb stories has come right out from my team working out of the Blaze. And then in addition to that, the additional work that they know I'm doing, because believe me, they know what I'm working on, and that's what terrifies them the most is what's coming. And so finally, they pulled the trigger after going silent on us for another couple of months last week, and they actually demanded that I turn myself in. We actually chose to do it in Dallas because I'm a North Carolina resident, actually, but I'm here at the Blaze working, and we decided to do the self-surrender, voluntary self-surrender on Friday morning. And rather than allowing me to wear a suit and tie and cooperatively walk into the courtroom as a non-violently charged misdemeanor accused defendant, instead they had me go to the Dallas field office of the FBI, turn myself in. They put me in shackles. Then they took me downtown. The FBI drove me to the federal courthouse downtown Dallas, where the United States Marshals then put me in leg chains and belt chains and put me in a cage with actual meth dealers.
That is insane. Yeah, nonviolent journalist. You're in there with meth dealers. Look, and probably in part to like what you said, what you're working on now. The Committee on House Administration just released 5,000 additional hours of J6 footage. I don't know what the hell took them so long, but they're finally doing it. Okay, Johnson claimed that the committee will no longer plan to blur the faces of individuals in the footage. I wonder when they're going to release those depositions, too, the ones from the sham Jan 6 committee that were, quote, deleted by accident.
Well, we're not only waiting for those. In fact, I've known about this 100 boxes of documents that the House Oversight Committee or admin has access to that have not been released either. Those things need to all be scanned. They all need to be made public. These are documents, 100 boxes worth that the Select Committee forgot to hide or forgot to burn or forgot to shred, whatever the case may be. But they have access to that. That's not coming out. The 40,000 hours worth of video has been slow rolled for reasons that I'm aware of. I've actually spoken to Speaker Johnson about this and about the blurring. And then in addition to that, we have other documents because my work for the last couple of years on January 6th has gotten me right into the heart of the problem of what's taking place with the DOJ. And we're specifically asking for documents that we can't get our hands on because they're being blocked by powers more powerful than Congress.
Yeah, no,